Gotta get it in every series I cast this, man. If that's not the best name in gaming, I don't know what is, man. Max Angel, like, come on. That's just not even fair.
It's really just not.
I can just only imagine how cool I would have been in high school if instead of my name being stupid Kevin von der Kar, I would have been Max Angel. Do you know how much confidence that would have given me, cats?
Yeah. I only had one friend who was named Max, and I thought he was the coolest just from the get-go. Out of his name is Max. I mean, but when you're Max Angel on top of it, it's just
Yeah.
oh wow. Okay, well.
Yeah, we're done. Wrap it up. We've got a champ, the name champ.
Yeah.
People
just line up to give him their lunch every day.
You want something extra, sir? Like, I can always go home and get some more lunch money for you. No, memes and giggles aside, I'm kind of excited and a bit nervous about this best of 5. I don't know why, but obviously such a big moment for both of these players. I think they're two sweethearts, two very young, passionate StarCraft 2 players. And this is such a big moment for them, right? Like, if you win here, you qualify for the season finals, you have a chance to potentially take down the entire NA tournament as well. It doesn't get much bigger than this for these guys.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And again, that loss against Neeb, I think for a lot of players, we would look at it as a huge blow to their confidence or something of the sort. But really, for Future, like he mentioned, it takes pressure off of him. It's that underdog energy that he can really feed off of. I watched him talk a little bit on the pick show a few days ago, and it seems like he's he's not sure how much he wants to be the best at this game. Like he knows he's one of the best in North America, but he doesn't quite reach in and grab it,
This is pretty wild. This is a pretty wild opening by Astrea over here. It's a Zealot Adept. It's not stuff we see very often. Normally, you never see anybody make a Zealot and just run it to the other side of the map, but it's happening. And that means this command center is already delayed for a little bit. The Stalker is going to show up as well. Cats, it couldn't possibly go worse, and it went against Neeb, but this is a pretty rough start.
It is so rough, Kev. I mean, this is a wonderful strat by Astrea, abusing that no one does this, right? It's the kind of thing that he will often do, is what no one else is willing to do, and he says, why? Why isn't no one else doing this, right? He was talking about versus Neeb, for example. He plays Nexus first because he doesn't know how to counter it, so he wants others to show him.
I gotta say that Future is actually handling this really well. I mean, sure, the Hellion gets picked off, but that could have gone a lot worse. We still don't have a bunker though, so I love that as well. Using the shade to get some high ground vision, to get a couple of initial shots up with the Stalkers. All of these Marines are in trouble. One Stalker does go down, but this is actually still turning into a bit of a disaster because one Marine and a Hellion is not enough to deal with an Adept and a Stalker. I think the most important thing here is to get shots up on those Stalkers, but that Stalker will live. It will not. It goes down in the end, and that actually makes Future's life a little bit easier. I know that this looks super bad for Future, but this is not cheap for Astrea either. This is a pretty big investment early on, and I think he needs a little bit more than what he got so far, but he's going to get that.
All right, now I gotta say, Roddy, when I'm a Zerg player, when I'm playing CVT and I kill this many Marines, I feel like there's so much space that you gain. You are delaying the push as well. Is there something that Astrea can do with this lead, with having killed so many Marines?
Yep, go up to 3 bases and have absolutely nothing to worry about. Chrono boost out probes and know that life is pretty good. SCV's way out of position. This Stalker shouldn't get surrounded there. Man, he's getting so much value out of these units, but the last Stalker goes down as well. So that is 3 Stalkers in the end for 13 Marines. Welcome to NA. Things get explosive here. Yeah, I think the biggest deal here, if you're Astrea, to take away from all of this is like, cool, I can go up to 3 bases. And if you were planning any sort of a Marine tank push, well, that's just a tank push now. It's not a Marine push, and those are not very good.
Yeah, definitely not. The tanks so heavily rely on the buffer that the Marines provide at the front. And so without them, it's so difficult to move out at all. This is what makes me wonder, what does Future go from here? And it looks like he's still going to go into the bio.
Yeah, I don't know what the initial plan was, but he definitely can't go for any early move out. This is actually a bit tricky, because even if I was Future at this point and I have full map vision, I'd be like, what's the correct play here? You can maybe say send out the Raven and try to harass a little bit with auto turrets, but then obviously you take the risk of a couple of Stalkers sniping it somewhere with Blink. We have 4 extra barracks going down. Well, I think we have our answer. I think it's going to be a 2-base all-in.
Yeah, and that's so very characteristic of Future. But again, this buys Astrea so much time, and I think this is one of
Wait,
I don't know
what?
if the what
Double Raven? Sorry, mate, I'm losing it here. Double Raven in TVP?
break it down for me, Roddy. What will this do? Is it good? Is it bad at this point?
I have actually never seen this. The only thing I can think of is that you send one Raven to harass, and the other Raven you keep with the main army in case A, it's Dark Templars, B, for an anti-armor missile. But I am going to say something very weird here, but because this was such an explosive, crazy start, I almost have the feeling this is just a complete mistake, and this was not intentional at all.
Okay, hear me out though. What if he's getting the double Raven on the back of having lost so many Marines that maybe he doesn't need as many medevacs as normal? Could that be it? I mean, that would be an adaptation, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if this is his strategy, it's honestly very unique. I've never seen it before, and I also don't think I can really give it a fair shake because of the rough start early on, right? But yeah, the Ravens are flying around. I mean, he's kind of utilizing the fact that he does have 2 Ravens, and he might just use one of them to indeed drop an auto turret or 2 in the main base and use the other one to push with the main army. But yeah, this is pretty insane. I have legit not seen a double Raven opening in this matchup like ever.
Yeah, and I mean, if Astrea was going for something like a Colossus or a Disruptor follow-up, then this would end up working wonders on the side of Future potentially. But with Storm, there's really not that much of an opportunity to get use out of it, right?
No, it's anti-armor missile and auto turrets, right? That's pretty much the best thing you're going to do. But yeah, you make a valid point there. If Astrea was indeed playing 3-base Colossus here, we'd be like, oh my god, so much Interference Matrix, it's sick. In this case, it's a bit unfortunate. Astrea is thinking of getting a little advantage in the center of the map. Don't forget, our Protoss has a massive worker advantage here. And all he really needs to do is buy some time, and that's what he's doing so far. I don't think he needs to take a crazy fight in the center. Ooh. You definitely don't want to run into Widow Mines like this.
Yeah, an anti-armor missile could really be strong on that many Zealots as well. There is the Templars out though, Roddy. Oh, they will all get scanned.
It's 7 High Templars. That's so many.
Oh, I mean, and it's a slow siege as well. So Astrea playing this really well. Those are gonna hit. Does this mean go time?
Yeah, I guess, but it's so hard. How do you steam into 7 High Templars? There's a War Prism in the main base as well. So this game is going to end real soon. Storms will land on top of the bio. The anti-armor missile is good, but you can't really run into this army because then your bio units clump up and Storm is going to annihilate everything.
Yeah, I love that Future is actively pre-splitting, trying to bait those storms, but Astrea very patiently waiting until the very end as Future encroaches, and now Astrea looking to have with the Zealot warping just enough to hold off this attack and end the game.
Yeah, not the first game I think that Future was really looking for. It could have been indeed an anti-Colossus play, but I think we have to go back to the beginning, right? Whenever you analyze a game of StarCraft, you never start analyzing this game by like, you know, what could he have done better in the final fight? Because I don't think that's that important. What is important is that Astrea opened up with the Zealot. Zealot, Adept, Stalker, Stalker, Stalker. You almost never see that. I think it would be very bad against the Reaper opening, because then the Reaper could potentially just run into the Zealot. The Zealot doesn't do anything, and then the Adept shows up. But if it's Marine, Expand, Reactor, that means no additional units, yeah, then suddenly Zealot Adept is a lot better than just Adept in the nature of the Terran player. Really cool opening by Astrea. I haven't seen these builds clash ever. I'm not even exaggerating there. I've never seen this, but yeah, it made a lot of sense. If Astrea was convinced that, hey, I know that Future is a greedy boy and skips the Reaper so he can get just one Marine out to deal with a probe and then he wants to go into the Reactor. If I show up with a Zealot and an Adept, he can't deal with that. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's a very cool point that you made there, Roddy. So thanks for that insight. I feel like, yeah, I guess the Reaper would kind of have to micro a lot, but I mean, it's not like Future has any lack of willingness to micro his Reaper forever against something like a Zealot, right? So yeah, I think it's Astrea playing the mind games to some degree. Already metagaming Future moving into the first game of the series.
Yep, and it's really important for future that things do pick up here in game 2. Like, we had that rough series yesterday. It is what it is. You got to move on. But now you start arguably the most important best of 5 of your life. A lot of money on the line, a lot of prestige on the line. You really want to get something going. You want to get a couple W's on the board. Let's see if you can get it done here on Eternal Empire. But if this man has something to say about it, he will say no. The man with the best name in gaming, spawning in the bottom left side, it is Astrea.
And in the top right-hand side, it is the American Terran. It is Future.
You know, I feel like I'm becoming a bit of an anti-hero, but as much as I love Future, I would actually love to see another mirror in the grand finals. You said it before when we were on the desk that Astrea versus Neep PvP best of 5 was so damn cool. If you guys are watching this grand finals, but you didn't see Astrea against Neep, after we're done, go ahead and watch it. It was an absolutely amazing, exciting best of 5, and I would kind of like to see more of that, cats.
It was pretty nuts. It's by far my favorite PvP series that I've watched. I mean, Showtime versus Drogo was good, but that one for me took the cake, stole the show in that day, and I wouldn't mind seeing a repeat either.
Yeah, same. That was like the last series of the day. And some of these days are pretty long for us, right? So, like, yeah, we're energetic, but in like hour 7, we're like, yeah, that was really sick, man. But holy hell, that PvP was like actually proper good and had so many turns and twists. It's going to be another Marine opening here for Future. So he doesn't seem to be too concerned about Astrea potentially doing the same thing. But we can already see that it's not happening. This map, I don't want to say it's bigger. I guess it's about the same when it comes from natural to natural, right? Than Pillars of Gold.
Yeah, I would say so. It's pretty big either way. So definitely not as I don't know. Do you think he could have just moved the salad? Maybe Zombie Grab would know. Zombie Grab.
Yeah, there is a list. Yeah, I know. I see has a
Maybe
tweet
she'll
about it
message
as
us
well.
after. Oh,
I think that Zombie Grub even pinned the tweet because he is kind of the queen of esports since he's saving all of us lazy nerds. I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that this map is a couple seconds slower from like ramp to ramp than Pillars of Gold, but I will confirm it for you.
Yeah, regardless, Astrea might have expected the adaptation. I personally expected that Future might make a Reaper after that. So, I mean, another thing that feels really good for me, if you're on Astrea's side of things here, Roddy, is that he's bringing the fight to Future, at least in that last game. And I think that that's the best way to deal with a player like Future, who is so comfortable being aggressive himself. Is if you start the aggression, if you take control of the game.
Yep, and especially because a lot of these aggressive build orders are super tight, right? There is just no room for errors. Everything needs to connect and click immediately. And if you're the one delaying the build, you already know you're kind of disrupting their plan. And this Adept will pick up the first kill of that Marine. Really wants to get that SCV as well. When you see that command center turning into an orbital, you know there is a low HP SCV there. But yeah, that Adept is going to be in trouble though. Future is going to be able to get some work done. There's once again no bunker. And the Adept is not an issue here, but the Stalker kind of is.
Yeah, similar opening without the Cellar is still causing a lot of trouble. And mind you, that Adept could have even been stronger in picking off the SCV first, but the Marine did a good job from Future to soak up the first few shots, I suppose. The next two Hellions are going to have to stay defensively, and SCVs will be pulled, so good patience, and Future will eventually clean this up.
Good micro, but unfortunately one Hellion does go down. The Adept somehow gets out, straight into the main base and go down immediately. I don't understand why Astrea is bringing that Stalker back. That Stalker should really go home, because Hellions are quicker than Stalkers. You see 3 gateways, by the way, so that's different than the previous game. This Stalker is taking a lot of damage, and it will get home, but very low on HP. And I believe that is a full wall off in the natural of Astrea.
It sure is. On both ends as well. Very cute, but yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that recall really didn't need to get spent. So Astrea perhaps not paying as much attention as he would like at this point, though that Wolof looks so strong against Hellions. What do you even do?
You can start working on the pylon, but yeah, that's about it. Not much. Now there is a War Prism on the way, but it seems like Future is already counting on the fact that this is kind of like departing build, right? We can call it departing build, 4-gate Blink Stalker, War Prism, be annoying on the other side of the map. But I think Future is going to be capable of dealing with it. And it's also not like Astrea can just pick up with all of his units and leave nothing at home. Because, I mean, that many Hellions and a Reaper can absolutely gun down a pylon. So you have to respect that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Roddy, whenever I think odd walls that work with Protoss, I think Roddy wall. Like, I think that's a thing that Roddy might do. How do you feel about this wall up from Astrea that we saw from the beginning?
It's so ugly that even if it was my own son, I couldn't block it.
Really?
Yep.
You don't like it?
No, but it's working, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. Now, we saw Stalker go down. A lot of Stalkers are actually still being at home right now, dealing with that Liberator. And this is not what you want, cats. If you're being aggressive with the 4-gate Blink Stalker, you want to be out on the map. You want to snipe bunkers, snipe tanks. You don't want to have Stalkers at home dealing with the Liberator. So I really have the feeling that this is actually going kind of okay for Future. But that one tank in the main base does feel a little bit exposed to me.
Oh.
Let's see if Astrea is going to go for the kill immediately there.
Snipes off the Viking. Perfect number of Stalkers to do that. In 2 shots, he takes the Siege Tank as well. And Future is going to have to reposition all of the SCVs very fast off the line. I like that as a response, but is it going to be enough?
There is a Liberator harassing in the natural as well. The tank did siege up again, but will get blinked on top of as well. A couple of Marauders are going to try to save the day. All of the SCVs are fighting at this point. The Stalkers at home took care of the Liberator. Your question was, is it going to be enough? I am afraid that the answer is no, because more Stalkers get warped into the main base, and just like that, Astrea picks up the 2-0 lead. Man, it felt that Future had a good setup. It felt like he knew what he was going up against. It's just that tank in the main base, it's a good tank if Astrea is afraid of it. But Astrea is not a man with a lot of fear. He blinks into the main base. He's like, Viking, bam, gone. He's like, oh, exposed tank, bam, gone. And at that point, it's the beginning of the end.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so easy for a rookie player to blink in, and when you get shot from the tank, your first initial reaction is not to move forward. But Astrea, I completely agree, is the type of player that will capitalize on those opportunities, that's ready to get shot by a tank that he didn't know about and move on forth. Now, on the side of Future, yeah, the early game was a little bit scrappy. Is that all you put it down to, or could he have used a bunker? I don't know.
I think a bunker would definitely help, even if you just have like 2 Marines in that bunker, 1 Marauder later on, right? Like, just having that bunker there is kind of like a fortress that can soak up a lot of shots, or can be a saving grace down the line. But I think what we can also just put it down to is a lot of professional Terran players would say, this is why you don't open up with 6 Hellions, man. Like, yeah, there's a lot of potential if it's a traditional 3-base opening and you drop a grenade and you bounce the Stalker out of position. You drive in there, you kill 15 probes. It's all fun and games, and then you love life. But it is probably not an optimal build order going up against what Astrea was doing.
Yeah, once again, we have, a story similar to the first game. I can't help but to notice it's Astrea kind of getting one step ahead of Future in terms of game plan. And I think that Future is a plan-oriented player like most Terrans, somewhat flexible in the things that he can do. He has a lot of build orders, but he's not getting to execute them because Astrea's in his face before that.
I think that sums it up, Cats. I think you put it perfectly there. Future is a man with great build orders, and they hit really quick, really hard. And if you're just at home trying to play a chill macro game, you're going to be like, oh my god, he's got so many units. And then Future has great micro on top of that.
Amazing, yeah.
He's just not able to execute those build orders. The build orders are being disrupted before they really even get into play. And that's why in the last 5 games, it really felt that just nothing is going Future's way.
Yeah, it's so difficult to be a Terran player and to know how to transition out of these situations. I mean, it has to be really frustrating on the side of Future here, but nothing seems to be working for him.
Yeah, I'm actually like, it's hard not to feel a bit sad, right? Because we know that this is such a big moment in this young player's career. We know what he's capable of. The fact that Future made it to the upper bracket final, made it out of a very tough group, all of that is amazing. Then having that sick best of 5 against Scarlet in the upper bracket semi-final. At that point, you're looking at a young man who feels like he's on top of the world, right? It's like everything is going my way. And now we just watched 5 games in a row, 3 yesterday, 2 today, where nothing is going his way. And this is a big one, because in America, it's not top 4 that qualifies for the season finals. It's top 2. Of course, qualifying for season finals is guaranteed money. But above all, it's a chance to really go up against the very best players in the world from each and every single region. I mean, he needs a miracle at this point, Cats, because being down 0-2 against this man is not a place where you ever want to find yourself, no matter who you are. Spawning in the bottom right side, our blue Protoss, Astrea.
And in the left, a man with an amazing tournament with very good results. I mean, he's a strong player. I think he might need a little bit of a push next season, but I truly believe that he can do it. It is Future.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing what you're seeing.
Okay, good. I mean, I wasn't
Unless
sure.
I'm not, because the mute.
I was like, maybe you're
making
making some food. Like, I don't know, puppy. Like, I don't know what you're looking at. Well, we're going to have a 2 barracks proxy while there is a probe heading to the other side of the map. Now, if you scout this, if you're Astrea, you're going to check the gases, because the gas is most important. There's a lot of Terran build orders where they just build the barracks in a weird spot on their side of the map. They're trying to scare the Protoss. But if there is no gas, then you're like, wait a minute. Okay, there is a gas going down. Now that gas is a little bit late. Astrea, is he... No, okay. I was about to say, is he actually building the Nexus? But he changed his mind and he's going for a 2-gate cybernetics core. No, this is going to get really interesting. A Zealot is going to be produced as well. Is this a full... This is a full Wolof.
Oh, wow. Ah, okay. Walk me through this, Roddy. How do you feel about the full Wolof?
I don't know, mate. This is weird. I don't see this very often. I mean, do you prop the Zealot on the left side of the wall? I guess you do. Otherwise, it's useless. But
yeah,
the Zealot is not going to win the fight. I guess when it has high ground vision, it's a little more protected. It will buy time. This is so strange, mate.
It is very, very strange. I mean, the Wolof will serve as a buffer, but at the same time, it gives something to them for the Marines to shoot at. And I mean, I love the shield batteries. I think that here's what we were talking about. The game just got weird. For sure, it just got weird. We're definitely watching NA. But I think this is where Future needs to kind of not be aggressive and be like, you know what? Okay, cool. I'll just kill your cybernetic score and get another CC. Something like that.
Yeah, well, probably a factory before the CC, right? Because you definitely want to get a Cyclone out there. I mean, shield batteries are good, but the second battery is actually going to get cancelled. It seems like Astrea thinks that one battery is enough. The Stalkers are actually going to be spawning on the safe side of the wall. While the Marines just got out there, they want to kill the shield battery.
Oh, wow.
The funny thing is now, you have no high ground vision. Is there a spot? Oh, Barracks! Barracks is going to give high ground vision. Let's go.
Yeah, but Roddy, the Zealot on the other side of the map just cancelled the factory, and now we can just siege. I think the Zealot just won the game.
How is there a Zealot? Oh, there was the second Zealot. I didn't even see that Zealot leave.
Yeah, that is incredibly impressive by Astrea. I didn't see it either, and I mean, Future didn't see it either, apparently. So he will lose 4 SCVs, crucial at this point, and his contain will be taken down while you have a Barracks floating. This couldn't be worse for Future.
Yep, and you didn't get the 7x core either, right? Like, at least if you killed the Cyber core, you can say that Warp Gate is very delayed. Oh my goodness. No, this is absolutely no bueno. This is not what you're looking for. Well, I guess the full Wolof is really good. It's
good enough, that's for sure. Wow, I mean, at this point, I think Max with a commanding lead. I like that Future tried to get ahead of him for once, right? Be like, you know what, I'm gonna control this game. And he did as early as he could as far as exercising control. And I mean, he had it for as long as he had it, but now it's gone.
Yeah, 2 Barracks is obviously very committed, I think, in this matchup. I do like that Future is going to take some risk now, and he's like, you know what, like, if I do nothing crazy, I am absolutely dead in this game. So he's just building the command center right now on the low ground, on location, trying to hang in there. And at this point, economically, it's not that bad. But by the time that command center is an orbital command, I think Astrea is going to have a 10 to 12 worker lead. Some Terran players will say that's normal. That's not totally normal, cats.
Who will say that's normal?
Yeah, absolutely. They're like, that's the case every game. I'm like, nah, like 5, 6, 7, you know, sometimes 8. I wouldn't exactly say 12 is the norm. Huh?
Yeah, and it's such every probe counts for so much when you're up against a player as aggressive as Future, right? Like, it's a game of inches with him every time because he is going for those sharp timings. And I really that's what I want to see him mix in for next season, Roddy, is for him to have a backup plan where he says, you know what, my timing, it's definitely not going to kill me.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Future, he did try a triple CC opening in game 1 against Neep, and that just didn't really work out. Then he tried a super weird proxy build in game 3 that didn't really work out. A traditional game plan, I believe, in game 2. I mean, this is kind of the Future we know and love. It's just that these top NA players, I mean, these are top foreign players. Astrea and Neeb are not just good in North America, right? You put them in Europe, and they're also a very serious force to be reckoned with. They just seem to know how to deal with a relatively one-dimensional Terran player. Even though Future is incredibly good at what he does, I don't think of him in the same way as I think of somebody like Saw or Hero Marine, right? Where it's like, yeah, 4-base, Ghost, Liberator, or Advanced Ballistics, they're really good with those kind of armies.
Yeah.
Future almost never gets there. So maybe that is one thing that he could work on, that he gets some confidence in the ultra late game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would love to see that added into his toolkit. I'm not saying, you know, play a macro game and see how it goes against Neeb. I mean, that's going to be difficult if you never play macro games. That's where I see he has room for growth.
Oh,
and where I see he could really gain, you know, if there was the player graphs, if you imagine the hexagon player graphs, where like Future's graph is pretty skewed towards aggression, it would be nice to make it a little bit more well-rounded.
Yep, great aggression, great micro, but often you do need more to win tournaments. Astrea's going to blink into the main base, gets the Viking, gets the tank as well. Stim is not even done yet. There's already a 10 worker advantage. That is Stim being researched. Oh no.
Oh, from bad to worse. Again, Astrea capitalizing on just being as decisive as he has been and the advantage that he's accrued over this early game, Roddy. What can you even do if you're Future?
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of an unfair question. You could tap out, but then you're feeling that you're leaving in a very sad moment. I think at this point, you're just kind of in disbelief. Where you're like, how did I just manage to play 6 TVPs that went like this? 6 games in a row where I truly felt that almost nothing, close to nothing, went Future's way. I mean, what do you do if you don't have Stim? Are you going to drop slow Marines against a guy who's sitting on... well, 3 gateways, but 2 more on the way, has observers, has blink stalkers, charges being researched. I don't know, mate. Like, there's very little you can do. I guess you wait until you have Stim, and then you go for the ultimate desperation 2-base all-in. But I think we all know where this game is going.
Yeah, it's not looking too hot. I love that at least he starts Stim on the further away tech lab here, so he's being diligent. He's still in this game. His mind is still in it, so he hasn't given up. Perhaps we shouldn't give up on him either, but it's looking very, very difficult for Future.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to be that guy, right? And be like, is this over? But Astrea is going to need a serious amount of brain lag to not close out a game like this. There is an 18 worker advantage. There is a base advantage. Colossus are already on the way. This game, there are no Ravens. So it's not like an interference matrix can make some magic happen. I think that we just have to applaud Future for an amazing tournament run up to this point. Unfortunately, in the last 2 series, it really did seem like nothing went his way. He's moving out, though. He's going to try to make magic happen. A couple of scans. Oh, come on. Not even the Observer Cats.
It's frustrating to see the Observer get away from those scans, Roddy. Maybe it needs a little bit of a tweak. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I can feel the frustration of Terran players when it's moving this quick. By the way, Stim could get cancelled again. I don't know if Astrea is aware of this. Okay, he's a bit too late now. Instead, he's going to try to cancel +1 armor. I do got to say, though, that all these Stalkers on the other side of the map, I don't think it's necessary. Future is going to pick up a lot of units. He's going to send everything into the main base. There is no anti-air here. If there was ever a way, this is the way. I don't want to say I believe, but this is the best play he could have ever made.
Yeah, it's a brilliant maneuver. This is kind of what you expect of him to go out with a bang. Perhaps at this point, though, is all that he can hope for. He's gonna fly over the army and the blink stalkers. Just gonna fly the medevacs until he dies. I think he knows it. HHGG.